Hi everyone, it's Crystal from A Crystal Clear Life, and it is the change in seasons. We are going from spring into summer, and I was at the park today and needed to open my emergency water for a dog friend of mine, and I thought it's time to go through my kit and see what needs to be changed out for the summer. So I thought I'd bring you guys along as I go through my emergency car kit. Now, some people also call this a bug out bag or an emergency preparedness kit. It doesn't matter to me what you want to call it. When I was a Girl Scout leader, it was just the bag that I took everywhere with us just in case. So what I wanted to do today is go through and show you all the things that I have in my bag. Maybe you're putting together your own bug out kit or emergency camping kit, whatever you want to call it. I just want to share a little bit about what's in mine. So I'm going to spread out my emergency picnic blanket here on the dark side so that you can see everything, and then we'll take a look and see what's in the bag. This kind of big emergency blanket is great for picnicking, but it is also wonderful because the one side is a vinyl type material, so if you put it down on the ground, you're not going to have moisture seep through. It's also good in an emergency rainstorm, but this side is a nice fleece material that's nice and warm. So that's always good to have in the car, and it will stay in my car year round. So we will start with that. Okay, first of all, I start with just a regular canvas backpack. Canvas on the bottom. This backpack could be improved. It could have a waterproof bottom so that it wouldn't get wet. This one is so old that some of the zippers on the side have broken. It was not an expensive brand. I think it was a school backpack that was bought at one time that was no longer used. But for me, it makes the perfect backpack for what I need. It's a good size. When it's in the back of my car and somebody looks at it, it looks more like a kid's backpack than it does a bag that's filled with lots of gear. So let's start off right here on the top. You see I have a carabiner here, which is this D-shaped clip. And on there I have a Coleman thermometer and a compass. And hopefully you can see the compass is moving there. I also have some emergency chapstick, which is good. Preferably it should be something that has a sunscreen in it that you can also use not only on your lips, but you can use on other areas that might need protecting from the sun, like your ears or your nose. And I have a relatively inexpensive flashlight. Now here's my flashlight trick. You always reverse the batteries in your flashlight so that they are in the wrong way. So that when you go to use your flashlight, you simply turn it around, reverse the batteries, let me actually reverse the batteries. Well, this is a good thing to try to make sure this is going to work. This has been in my car for a number of months now, so these batteries may need to be replaced. That's why it's always a good thing to go through. So I'm going to make myself a note to replace the batteries in this flashlight. Okay, moving on. In the side down here, in this side pocket, again with another carabiner. Why would I put a carabiner on this water bottle? Well, let's say I'm having to walk somewhere. If I have a carabiner on this water bottle, I can then hook it onto my belt loop if I'm having to walk somewhere. This water bottle is stainless steel, so that if there's an emergency and I need to boil some water, I can put this right on the fire, and because it is stainless steel, I can use it as a pot to warm water in. I don't typically like steel water bottles. I don't like the metallic taste in them, but in an emergency situation, it's a great thing to have. So it stays here in my side pocket. In this other outside pocket over here, I keep some bug spray. Apparently mosquitoes love me to death. It's also good for ticks, that kind of thing. It's in a plastic bag so it doesn't accidentally get sprayed. And then there is my sunscreen, SPF 50. in stick form so that I can rub it on sensitive areas, like I said, like your earlobes, the bridge of your nose, that kind of thing, tops of your feet, anything like that. Good to have in an emergency. I can't tell you how many picnics I've been to over the past years where I have to go and dig this out just for myself. So that's in the other outside pocket so that it's easy to get to when this is in the back of my car. Now, this hook across here, you could put other things in this strap if you wanted. And you see this backpack here also has other loops that I could put other things in if I needed to, which is great. But when it's stored in my car, I don't want things like knives or tools or that kind of thing showing. I want this to look more like a kid's backpack. All right, in this front pocket here, you see I have everything stored in plastic and labeled. So this is a small emergency kit for first aid. And it's just one that you can buy in any grocery store, any area like that. You see there's a few Band-Aids, some Advil, and some Bayer aspirin. It looks like there's some hand wipes and more Band-Aids and a little pack of Neosporin. So I'm going to take this into the house with me and make sure that all of these medications are up to date. Remember, it's always a good idea to carry a first aid kit with you and to make sure that you have Bayer aspirin in there in case you encounter somebody who's hiking or on a trail who may suffer a heart attack, and you want to have that Bayer aspirin there to be able to give them if that's what the emergency people tell you to do. Also have an extra pack of Kleenex in there. So that's in the front pocket. Also in this front pocket are some extra coffee filters. Now, coffee filters can be used for all kinds of things. They can be used to filter water and get large debris and things out of water. They can be used to put in a mask if you're in a more dangerous situation where you want to filter the air that you're breathing. There's all kinds of uses for coffee filters. So this is just a pack that you can get at the dollar store. It's great to keep in there. You see, I have a sewing kit. This is not a very fancy sewing kit. Again, from the dollar store. It has a little pair of scissors, needle, thread, pens, all of that kind of stuff that you might need if you are out and about and have an emergency situation. Now, some of the real preppers will tell you you might have to sew up a gash in your finger or something like that. I'm not sure that I could do that, but it's great to have a sewing kit with me. This one is labeled oral care. So you see in here I have all kinds of dollar store toothbrushes with toothpaste with them, and there are 3 or 4 different ones in here. I try to have enough for the whole family so that everybody has what they need. You see I also have some dental floss in here, a couple different kinds of dental floss. Dental floss is good not only for being able to floss your teeth, but it's also good to use in conjunction with your sewing kit. If, for example, you do have a wound that you need to sew up, dental floss is much stronger and will last until you can get to an emergency situation to have that removed. So, and this is just a bottle of lotion that's in here. And there are some emergency cough drops in there as well. I am somebody who has asthma, so I always keep emergency cough drops with me just in case I get a cough or a tickle. Also in this front pocket is my emergency knife, which is here, which is a great size blade. The blade is 3 inches long, so that's not a problem for carrying in most places. It has a nice belt clip on it so that I can attach it to my belt if I need to. And you know, it's pretty. I like it. Works great. And close it up, and there you go. So I have that in here, and I also have my multi-tool. For those of you who may not know what a multi-tool is, it is a contraption that has all kinds of other things. So this one has scissors, there are screwdrivers, there's a bottle opener, there's a pair of pliers here, there is a serrated knife here in case you need to cut something that's a little stronger, or maybe a tree limb or a branch or something. And there's another blade there, and there's another screwdriver tool there as well. And it all folds up nice and safe and fits perfectly in this little snack bag along with my knife. Now those are not the only knives that I carry. I also carry one in my pack that I keep on my person at all times. Here again, you see I have a flashlight, and you see that the batteries are out of this flashlight, and it says right on there, reverse the batteries. So that's a Girl Scout tip that all of my girls have been taught, that when you have something like this, you put the batteries in, you reverse them so that you don't wear them out by accident, by it getting pushed in your, and then you see there when you turn it around, the flashlight actually works. Now most of us these days don't need to carry extra batteries, but I tend to do that. Most of us these days also have a flashlight on our phone, which works pretty well if your phone is charged. But if not, it's good to have one in your pack as an emergency. Now these are emergency bowls. And I used one of these today with the dog friend that I was with. So they're silicone and they just pop up, and it's a bowl that you could have food in if you needed to, or to have water in to be able to clean something, that kind of thing. And the great thing is that they are just squished down and go right back into this plastic bag, and they're safe and clean and ready to go. I also have a couple of plastic spoons that I picked up from different places, and a plastic fork that may be good in case of emergency. There's another one. And so if I need to eat something quickly, I have things for that. Also in here, let's see if you can see this, there are a couple pockets that I've pulled everything out of so far, except this back pocket here. This back pocket across the back here has my fire kit in it. You never know when you might have to make an emergency fire. So what do I have in my fire kit? Well, let's open it up and take a look. And it may just not be a time that you need to make a fire. There may be other reasons that you need to make a fire. So in here, this is the essentials of the fire kit. You see I have a lighter that works. Good to test that out. I have an old gum container that I have some used birthday candles in. Now, birthday candles, you may think, why in the heck do you have used birthday candles in there? Well, they're a good way to work as a long match if you're trying to start a fire. And we've even been known as Girl Scouts to be out to dinner and want to celebrate somebody's birthday. And guess what? Miss Crystal has a birthday candle in her emergency pack, so we can celebrate anybody's birthday at any time. Just kidding. These really do work great to help start a fire. I also have a couple of packs of matches in here with the strikers on the back. And then I have here a piece of wax paper. Again, you might ask, why do you have a piece of wax paper? Well, wax paper makes a very good kind of wick. So you might be able to collect some pieces of cotton or some thrown away napkins or something like that that you might find around some pieces of trash. Or I carry some of these cotton face cleansing things. If you take these and dried leaves and other bits of trash that you might find, and you wrap them in this wax paper, put a candle or two in there, and then light it, that makes a very good fire starter. So that's something good to have. I also have in this kit, again from the dollar store, some little emergency tea lights. And you see this is just an 8-pack of emergency tea lights. And if you are hiking in the woods and you meet Prince Charming and you want to have a romantic candlelight dinner on the side of the trail, you now have candlelight to do that by. Again, just kidding. These are great for emergency lighting or fire starting if you need them. A lot of this stuff, you know, comes from the dollar store, and that is absolutely fine. We're not looking for quality things that are beautiful. We are looking for things that are practical and that work great. So our fire kit looks pretty intact. I don't think we need anything else for that. Sometimes in my fire kit, I will take some of these pads, these makeup pads, and I will actually put Vaseline on them and store them in their own separate plastic baggie. That makes a great fire starter as well. The Vaseline works as fuel that will burn to get your fire started. Okay, so there's our fire kit. Very important to have that. And it's right in the front pocket, easily accessible. Also with this fire kit, I have another thermometer. This is an emergency whistle. So it has a compass on it. It has a thermometer so that you know what the temperature is. It also has a magnifying glass here that could be used to focus a beam of light if you needed to in an emergency, or to see if you've got a splinter and you need to get that out. That magnifying glass will help with that. And it also has an emergency whistle in it, which I'm going to blow, so don't be startled. So that you could signal for someone if someone was looking for you. Rather than yelling, you could blow the whistle. I'm going to tuck that back in my fire kit so I know where it is. Okay, so that's what goes in my front pocket. Things that are readily accessible and needable. That was the oral kit, the food, and the fire kit, and first aid. Now let's move on to the inside pocket. I'm going to set this behind me and pull these bags out one by one just to show you quickly. Most of the things that are stored in here are, again, packaged by category in Ziploc bags. Let's see if you can get a good shot of that. You can kind of see everything that's packed down in there. This unzips a little bit farther so that you can see everything that's in there. So really you can open this pack up and lay it down in this way and be able to have access to everything that's in here. But I'm going to move this out of the way so you can see the individual things when I pull them out. This bag is bandanas and buffs. Okay, so for those of you who may not know, a buff is a piece of fabric that is one big tube of fabric. This is a short one. They make also very long ones. And you can see here on the package, there are all different ways that you can wear it. You can wear it as a head cover. You can wear it as a headband. You can wear it around your neck. You can cover your mouth. You can wear it on your wrist to protect your wrist from sweating and that kind of thing. So there's all kinds of things that you can do with them. More and more people know about buffs now that the pandemic has hit. And so people are using them, but I carry them in my emergency bag and have for many years. So always good to have. And then bandanas. Again, these are just 100% cotton bandanas, good for 101 uses. So those are all clean and good to go. I don't need to repackage any of those. Keep everything nice and sealed. It's labeled. I know exactly what it is. That goes in the inside pocket, so it goes on this side of the table. Next, we have our water bag. People make fun of me for having this all the time. I have a Lifestraw, Sawyer, filtered water Lifestraw here. That's the entire kit. I also carry a portable Lifestraw. Just to show you, it looks like this. Has a string that you can wear around your face. There's a filter here, a filter inside, and then you drink from this end. So let's say you are out somewhere and you need, in an emergency situation, you need to drink water from a stream or something like that. This filter will block any large materials, and then the filter that is in here traps contaminants, and then you drink through this area here, and you see that it has a cover for it. I'll put a link to Lifestraw up above so that you can see more about that. And also in my water kit, I have a water purification tablets. This particular kit contains 50 tablets, and I keep that with me at all times as well. Again, for times that you may be exposed to water that you have to drink that you're not sure if it's clean or not. Salt is also another great cleanser. for medicinal purposes, there's lots of little packets of salt throughout my kit. So put that back together. That's my water kit, the Sawyer Lifestraw. Next I have this little container, which was one of the little lemonade containers that you get with the little packets of lemonade in it for you to add to your water, and it's just a great container. So this contains some office supplies and reflectors. You see here that I've put some layers of duct tape around the outside. Duct tape is always good to have with you when you're hiking or something like that. Something breaks, your shoe falls apart, any of those kinds of things. Good to have duct tape. And then I also have some painter's tape here wrapped around the top. Inside the office supplies, you see there's a pair of scissors. I have a Sharpie. I have a small pencil. Actually, I have 2 small pencils. Thank you, IKEA. 3 small pencils. And I have a piece of paper in case I need to write something down. I also have, notice it is a bright orange piece of paper, so that if I needed to tear it into little pieces to leave a trail for myself somewhere, it's a color that I would be able to see. So that bright orange is good for that. I have an emergency box cutter here. And I also have some reflector strips. These are armbands that go around your arm like that. Let's say you're somewhere and you have to stop and walk along the side of the road. As many reflecting things as you can have on you to have people see you, the better. So here we have the reflector bands that you could put on your person, put on your backpack, whatever you need to do. And of course, a glow stick that I could pop and use for light or use for someone to find me if I was lost. So that is what's in my office supply kit. There's a couple more of these index cards. But you see how well these bands fit on the end of this glow stick. Keeps the glow stick protected from being broken before I need it. Fits perfectly down in this container. And the scissors in there as well. Lid snaps back on. Everything stays in place. Another thing that I keep in here are some canopy ties. Some people also call these ball bungies. They are elastic bands that have a ball on the end, so you can put it around a tree stem or a stake or something like that and hold something in place. Primarily these would be used for the tarp, which I will get to in just a minute. But I do have some ball bungees. I also have some cording. This is 550 feet of, this is 100 feet of 550 paracord, which is a standard paracord, which is great for, again, making an emergency shelter. These are a deck of playing cards. They actually have 2 purposes. One, they are lists of things that you can and cannot eat in the woods. So you see on there, there are all kinds of plants that you might be able to find to eat if you are stranded somewhere and you're not sure if something is poisonous or not. You could look it up. And it also shows you the area in the United States where that plant is found. And then there's information on the back. But you also see on the back, it's a deck of playing cards. Because while you're sitting there waiting for Prince Charming to come along, you might want to play a game of solitaire or something like that. Keeping yourself entertained is a good thing, and this having a dual purpose is even better. Here's another one of the knives that I carry with me. That you see if I needed to cut down pieces of wood to make a fire, something like that, I could do that. I could also use it to defend myself against a wild animal if needed. Hopefully that would never be needed, but it's always good to have. An extra tea towel, an old one from the kitchen. Has all kinds of purposes, drying up, washing up, all of that. Just good to have a tea towel. Here is a pack of gloves. So in here I have a couple work gloves. These are leather work gloves. and these are, they have a suede type fabric in here, but these are good fine working gloves. Again, if you're collecting firewood or putting up a structure, something like that, changing a tire in the car, it's just nice to have a couple of pair of gloves. So there we go. And remember, this kit is for the family, so there's a big enough pair in there that would fit my husband or the children if needed. So a pair of gloves, nicely labeled. Some wipes, kind of self-explanatory. Okay, this kit right here contains, again, some more survival things. There are some emergency blankets to help keep the heat in. If you're trapped in the car in the wintertime, let's say there's a snowstorm and you know there's traffic and the bridge is out and you're sitting in the car and you're getting cold, these emergency blankets you can put over you. They reflect your body heat back onto you, which is great. Some hand sanitizers, some zip ties in case you need to connect things together. Here's two more of those emergency whistles. These are kind of cool because this particular model has a flint on the outside, so you could use this also as a fire starter. Has the compass in the end. This end screws off, so even in this little emergency whistle, you can have a fire starting kit. Okay, so here we have a Band-Aid. We have birthday candles. We have some matches because a lighter won't fit in that little hole. And then we have our striker. Notice how we have our striker folded. The striker is here on the inside, and it is folded, and that goes in first on the side, and then we put the candles in there, and then we put the matches. So the matches will never be close to the striker plate because we don't want that to spontaneously combust in our backpack in the car. The other thing with the Band-Aid is if you don't need it as a Band-Aid, most Band-Aids have that little cotton pad on them that can be used as kindling as well if you need it. All right, so we got the Band-Aid back down in there. This has a mirror for signaling. Get that screwed on. It too is a whistle for signaling. And there's your flint right there on the outside. So nice to have. And some more cord. This again is from the dollar store. It is plastic or nylon cording. It's actually sold as a clothesline, so you see that it has the clothesline contraption here, and you see that I have stuck 2 extra tent stakes down in there so that if you're creating a lean-to and you need to stake your tarp down, you have 2 tent stakes to do that. Actually, there's another one, so there's 3 in here. Okay, so good thing to have. Oh, there's 4 tent stakes. Terrific. So let's put all of these things back in this bag. So you can see, if I were caught in an emergency, I really could have shelter, food, water, hygiene, first aid, entertainment, all of that right here in this little backpack. Speaking of shelter, I have some plastic bags, again, that could be used for filtering, could be used for storing things, could be used for grabbing something if you need to. Just a couple of extra plastic bags to have. Could also be used for an emergency bathroom if need be. Take the bag, fill it with leaves, and use it for an emergency bathroom if need be. I also have a couple of these huge 50-gallon, very thick milled plastic trash bags that can be used for all kinds of things. Emergency ponchos, emergency lean-tos, a myriad of uses. I keep those in there at all times. There's another one with a drawstring on it. And then I also have my 12 by 12 tarp that you see I got from the Christmas tree shops. It was $6. But the tarp could be used to create an emergency lean-to, emergency shelter, emergency hammock, any of those kinds of things. So the tarp is always good to have. Or if you're somewhere and you just need to have ground cover, you know, to have a 12 by 12 tarp is a great thing to have in your car with you. Pack of exam gloves, again, in case you encounter something that's kind of icky. You want to have some protection when you pick that up. That works. These could also go in the first aid bag. 2 more toothbrushes. Apparently I want to make sure that my teeth look good while I'm surviving. A straw you might need for various reasons. And then last but not least, this is an emergency radio. So it's my emergency radio. It has a weather band on here. It's a hand crank radio, so you don't need to have it charged.
That listeners have, keep that in mind as well. Now, well, I'd like to give Zaha a chance to.
So here you go. You can get have emergency tuning, volume. You can get the weather on here, all of those kinds of things. It also has a. It also has a flashing red light here. Okay, so that's pretty handy. You can charge the battery. If you know that you're going out and you want to make sure that the battery is fully charged before you go, you can do that and take it with you. But I've not touched this radio in well over a year, and you saw I cranked it and it started playing. So that's kind of a good thing to have with you as well. So for my emergency food, I have little packs of trail mix that I keep. I pick these up at Aldi's. They're already packaged and ready to go. And if I'm out and need some extra protein, I have that with me. I also have some of these Slim Jim sticks. Now, would I normally eat Slim Jims on a daily basis? No, but they are very high in protein and fat. There are 7 grams of protein in one of these little sticks, and they're high in fat, so they would give me energy to keep going. And so in an emergency, you know, all you really need are the calories. I figure eating a Slim Jim is better than catching a squirrel and eating that. So I keep these kinds of things in my car for emergencies. The nuts, also trail mix is a good thing because if it has the fruit in there, you're getting some sugar energy as well. So that's good to keep. You might have a candy bar that you want to keep in there for emergencies. Just be careful that in the summertime, candy bars are not a good idea. But granola bars that don't have chocolate on them would be a good idea for the summertime. So I'm going to take these nuts out, and I'm going to take these Slim Jim out for the summer, and I'm going to replace them with more summer stable foods. And last but not least, I have my Stanley Authentic Camp Cook Set, and I keep this in there as well. Okay, this lid comes up, this comes off. Inside is the directions for the Stanley stove, and you see, ever prepared. This is an old pill bottle, but there are my birthday candles, there are my matches and my striker plate and my little pieces of cotton to help me get a fire started in case I need to. You're more likely to freeze to death than you are to starve to death. So being able to make an emergency fire is very important because hypothermia is real and it will kill you faster than starving to death. So another emergency fire kit there. This is a small cup or mug or bowl for whatever you might be fixing. There are 2 of them in here. Okay, so you build your little fire, and you can use this to heat up, to sit on the fire. It has a lid that you can put on the top. Okay, so you have your lid, so you can lift the lid. There's little vent holes there so the steam can escape. Your handle will not get hot, but if it does, remember you have those leather gloves to use. Take this off, pour your food into there, and you're good to go. Maybe it's hot water, maybe it's tea. Tea bags. I need to add some tea bags and some instant coffee to my bag. Anyway, that's what that's for. Again, it's stainless steel, so I could heat water in this. I could also heat water in this. Okay? you see this came from the clearance rack at Walmart. I paid $7.50 for this. Okay. Oop, forgot the instructions. Squeeze that, lift it forward. That keeps everything nice and secure, and that's great to store in the bag. In another section of the car, I keep one of these fleece-lined hats. So it has polar fleece on the inside, and it's just a generic hat that will work well, again, if you're in a snowstorm and you get caught in your car and it's getting cold. Most of the heat is lost from the top of your head, so having a fleece-lined hat is a good idea. And tucked up inside that hat is the emergency sleeping bag. You see it's a very small sleeping bag. It's much like that Mylar blanket that I showed you earlier. It has the silver on the inside, if you can see that. So it will keep you warm, and you can tuck your body down in there, even sitting up in the driver's seat, and pull it up around you and keep you warm. So that's good to have as well, in addition to your big blanket. So that goes in there and is easily accessible in the back of my car, right next to my auto safety kit. This one is cute. It's called a just-in-case auto safety kit, and it has booster cables, so jumper cables, headlamp, flashlight, which is very important. I like to have that in there. It has an additional fleece blanket. It has 2 toe straps. It has an emergency poncho. It has another first aid kit, and this one came with a roadside membership. And then I added into that my emergency vest. Again, thank you, IKEA. This is a safety vest so that if something happens and you have to get out of the car and change a tire or something on the side of the road, you have your safety vest to put on so that other motorists can see you. And then there's the blanket, and the cables and everything else is just tucked nicely down in this little zippered compartment. So that works great as well to have in the car. So all in all, if I needed to, I could probably live out of my car just with the things that I have in my backpack and my car emergency kit. So I hope this has been helpful. The thing that started this whole thing this morning, my emergency water. I keep a gallon of emergency water in the back of the car, which I needed to open this morning. So that's what got me to thinking that I need to go through my whole kit to see what needs to be replaced or refilled. So this water will get used in the house, and I'll put a new one in the car for the rest of the spring. Another thing that I keep in the car next to my emergency hat and blanket is this fanny pack. It is great in case you need to get out and do some walking. It has a place to put water bottles on the side. It has plenty of room to put whatever you might need to take with you. There's a small notebook in here and pencils in case you need to take notes to get maybe the car fixed or something like that. So it's just a great handy bag to have, to put all of your things in, to have on you in an emergency situation. So lots of pockets, good storage container, nice big sturdy strap to go around you, holds 2 water bottles. Could put something here, a jacket or blanket here in the front as well. So this is a great thing to have in the car. Well, I think that about does it for me today. As you can see, I like to be prepared for any situation, and hopefully I've given you guys some ideas for some things that you might want to keep in your emergency backpack. Whether you keep it in your car or whether you keep it in your house, whether you make a smaller version to keep in your car, that's totally up to you. I just like to be prepared for anything, and this gives me peace of mind. So thank you for watching today. If you've learned anything or liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And if you'd like to learn more about what we do here at A Crystal Clear Life, where we focus on planning, organizing, in plastic bags apparently, and simplifying our life, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and you can ring the bell if you'd like to be notified when I post new videos, which is about once a week. There are a few things that I think I need to add here. I need to put some disposable masks in here. I want to put some tea bags in here. If there are other things that you think of that are missing out of my kit, please leave me a comment below. I would love to hear your ideas. I'm always looking to enhance my bag. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. Stay safe out there, but get out there and have some fun, and be prepared for anything. Okay, so I brought my flashlight inside. I've put new batteries in and slide it down in. And you see that it works. Hi, Harry, are you trying to help? Now, another trick, if you don't want to reverse the batteries, when I say reverse the batteries, this is the positive end. You just put them in backwards like that. And you see that the flashlight does not work. So reversing the batteries, turning them around so the positive end is where it belongs. Make sure all the connections are there, and then you see it works. Another trick, if you don't want to reverse the batteries, is I took the label that was stuck to the outside of this, the price label, and you simply put that in to cover up the connector, like so that it does not make contact with the other end of the flashlight. Screw that in place, and then you see the flashlight doesn't work, but when you go to take it out to go, well, what the heck is wrong with these batteries? You see that little tab in there. You can pull that out, screw the lid back on, and the flashlight works again. So either way, reversing the batteries or covering it up. This is a way that they do it in marketing, where they have the little plastic tab that you pull out. It pulls a little plastic thing away from the battery so that it can make the connection. This is the same concept. I'm just reusing the label that came on it. So just wanted to show you my flashlight is working. I did add some coffee and tea bags to the emergency kit, updated the Advil and aspirin, put some extra disposable masks in there, refilled my hand sanitizer, which actually is just laying in the front of the car, not attached to the bag top anymore, because I use it every time I get in the car. Anyway, just wanted to give you a quick update on fixing the things in the kit. Okay. Bye.